Okay, so Legion, after going through this, I just felt a bit confused.
You're probably very confused.
I'm very confused because
Did
this
you?
is.
So, okay,
Mm-hmm.
tell me first, what does Kromm support skill do?
I think it adds +6 attack. Like it's a reposition, and it's
Correct.
extra turn, and it's an extra
Correct.
6 attack on him and his pair up hero.
Yes.
But he gets isolated, just like his pair up
Yes.
hero, so they cannot get assist skill.
Correct. Now, what does that mean in terms of what he can't do?
That means he can't be like dance repeatedly.
Incorrect, because remember how isolation works, or any penalty? As soon as you end your action, you can get refreshed.
Okay, true.
All penalties removed. So isolation does not stop you from getting advanced.
Okay, true. He moves and then he can get it. It's more like he can't get an assist skill on him afterwards.
You can't use it again, and he can't get hit by another assist skill, but he can still, after his action, get danced or get another assist on him. So it can't be like you use the reposition twice, for example. You can't reposition and get repositioned in or smited in sort of situation, but you can still get danced.
Okay. Why? Like, okay, I get it. Why? Was this in a text for Brave Lucina as well?
No, but she also just gets another action instead of the attack buff.
Yeah. Okay. So in other words, the difference is it's swap versus reposition, and he gets to buff himself with 6 attack.
Mm-hmm. Self-sufficient buff, so he can still use other B slots, whereas Lucina is notoriously either Link or Wings of Mercy. Depending on
I
what
still
you're
don't really
doing.
get the point of like using isolation as like a negative effect. So what is this supposed to hinder him on then?
It just means he can't use his assist again, and if he has like a smite bot, well, he repos, then they smite, it can't be done either. It's not too inhibiting, but the design point of it is so that you can't use 2 change fate to reposition train somebody back 3 spaces.
Right, but it doesn't work with future vision anyways. And the future
What?
vision text doesn't include isolation either.
You can use. Oh, you. I didn't mention future vision in the last part, but
No, I'm
Future
doing
vi-
comparison there because they're the only
Oh.
2 abilities in the game like that.
that can also refresh you. Yeah, it's like with future vision. The main thing is that you swap in, and then you can just keep moving. So you actually have an extra space of movement before you go ahead. So that gives Lucina a little more range, but she also doesn't buff herself, and not to mention she can't exactly, get her allies too safe. But Kromm buffs himself up, buffs his pair up, which is really nice, and then he can just keep moving. The isolation is mostly just so you can't, keep spamming it. Like with Future Vision, you spam it, you just move your enemy back to his bases, or your ally. Whereas this, 4 spaces away.
No, I get it. I get the difference between swap and reposition. I'm just
Okay.
confused by the
Chain.
wording to put their isolation in there specifically because as I recall, I don't recall, isolation's not in future vision.
It's not.
So then what the frig? There's no.
It's mostly just because of the buff that he gets instead. There's not too much of a penalty, but there is a penalty nevertheless, so that it isn't just strictly better than Future Vision.
Okay, so in other words, future vision, guys, you can use future vision, then buff Lucina if you had wanted to.
Mhm.
In this case, from what I understand, if you did try to use a link skill on him, it would work. It just their next action would not work. So in other words, if you use to change fate, isolation triggers, and if you try to use like a link skill, does not work. If you try to use harsh command, does not work. If you try to use,
Well, you can use the Link skill. The Link skill is your B slot.
if it's your B slot or the character you're moving's B slot, but if it's anybody else's, doesn't work.
Oh, that's just how Links work. Yeah.
Then, what? Okay, I just feel like they didn't need to put that in. Like it's just.
It's a minute parity penalty so that he can get that buff and not repo chain. It doesn't exactly hurt him too much in the long run.
Okay.
As long as you're not worried about, position chaining to no end.
Okay.
Although you can technically, if you pair up with Lucina, Future Vision into it to change Fate into another move, into a dance, and basically get 4 actions.
I guess that is why they did it. It took a while to finally get to why they did it, but I think that's why they did it. Because if you just spam those two together... Okay, now that makes more sense to me. So in other words, if we ever get another character with like a 2 change Fate or Future Vision kind of effect, they're all going to carry the isolation effect, so they don't stack up with each other.
If there's something else on that, but yeah.
Okay.
They're probably going to put something else on it so that it evens out. But yeah, they're probably going to put isolation on future skills like this.
Okay. It took a while, but we got to the heart of it. That's why it's there. Because other than that, I can't imagine why you would do that. Like, you didn't need to do that. Like, you couldn't already spam Future Vision. Like, you couldn't just like... You couldn't just like dance her again in the Future Vision and just do that over and over again.
Right.
So...
Right.
Why do they always make everything overly complicated? Whatever.
It's simple enough in execution. It's just you gotta think about the stipulations behind it. Really weird stipulations.
Alright, fine. Anyways, as for the rest of the kit, I actually am not very excited about this. This looks like he's supposed to be used defensively from what I can tell.
It's basically dual fawns, but with to change fate instead of open the future.
And it's physical versus magical. Man, this is boring. Come on.
It's quite solid, honestly. It just, it's basically turning dual fawns into a Legendary Lucina.
The worst part is he kind of looks like Alphonse.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, blame the blue hair lord syndrome.
Yeah. No, I'm not excited about this. To be honest, man, this feels underwhelming. Are you guys excited about this? It's just because... Future Vision made so much sense to me because you could use it offensively, but since you're not moving forward, this really doesn't do much.
I mean, you can still move forward, repo back, and while you won't move the extra space, you'll still have the extra 2 spaces thereafter.
Sure.
And your ally is more safe this way.
Wow, some people are actually really incredibly excited. Wow. But most of you guys are not. But here's the thing. What it appears to me to be used for, the rationale here is to push someone back, move forward, and play it defensively, because this does not look like he's going to be used offensively, which is not what I like. Future Vision, I love Future Vision because it's scary, right? If you push forward against somebody with like a Legendary Lucina and you're not careful, she will Future Vision in and she will punish you for it. This isn't anywhere like that.
It's more so Legendary Lucina is a fantastic enemy unit because Future Vision, given that she has the extra movement, can just do so much for her. Plus you Wings of Mercy, and then you have your speed to go off of Fire Sweep, Impact, things like that. Alphonse. Oh boy, you got me doing it. Kromm doesn't have the speed for that. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, in the player's court, you can just use this to chain up and have them tank just about anything, while also keeping allies well out of harm's way through reposition, which is, of course, next to swap the most popular. Well, more popular, I'd say, than the swap as far as positional skills go.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's what I gotta say. In most cases, a reposition would be just as good. Sure, the extra movement could allow you to position better. The extra movement could allow you to do a lot of other things, play it offensively. But in most cases, if your goal is to get your ally out of range and to tank the next hit, reposition is essentially that skill. And if you come down to that,
too. Keeps you away from your allies. You're able to keep like rouse going. You're able to shield their the enemy's movement so that they can't reach your ally.
Sure,
you
but
could also use that to get a cheap punk shot off Langrisser before
yeah. I know, I get it. But even then, say you do move forward, a lot of times moving forward is problematic because you move forward, you attack something, now you're in battle. Like you can't just pull yourself out because you're the enemy hero. So hero you just push like reposition back is like one step behind you. You move forward like 1 or 2 spaces. Like realistically, there should be no way to recover you, and now you're engaged.
Yep.
I don't really feel like he's gonna be that good there because most likely his res will be mediocre.
What was Duo Fonz's again? Because I'm basically expecting their, based on their archetype, to be similar if not identical distributions.
Actually, Duo Fonz was pretty decent in terms of res. It's more like Duo Fonz's future, Open the Future was what allowed him to sustain himself. I don't think he has anything near that. So
I mean, you can run a special, which funnily enough he doesn't have a special, so you kind of have to fill that in. But you can run a healing special, you just won't be able to get the damage presence off of it, like with Open the Future.
I don't think he'll match Open the Future, though. Open the Future is 2 cooldown, and he can have it instantly.
Well, 3 cooldown, but he happens to have Slaying, whereas Kromm has attack plus 3. Pulling out. I just want to check out Fonz's res.
Sure, it's, it drops it down to 2 cooldown, but yeah, I think he'll be fine. Okay. Anyways, guys, it's just I'm not very excited about this because like you just think about how you're gonna use this. Unless it's armored, then he should win that. But everything.
He'll win. Well, and Flyer.
And I guess Flyers too. But everything else is where I'm gonna not be so certain of.
He's got a pretty nasty attack stat. The only thing he lacks is follow-up, but given that he's lulling your attack and defense, giving you attack defense -6, granting himself attack +6, and then you can consider anything else. That's an easy gap that's just going to cause him to be a pretty heavy nuke without any effort.
Yeah. He should still hit really hard. But he's a fundamentally defensive hero, is what I see. And I'll wait to stats before I make up my mind on that, but you got a good enough hint when he fought the red flyer and he could not double.
Oh, he's not going half speed. That's...
Oh, thanks. Oh, yeah, Capo. Welcome back. 17 months. Thank you, dude.
Oh, I guess there's one very funny synergy you could do. You support him with Layla, you pair him up with Lucina. Layla goes in first, and then you future visions him out with Lucina. You you do Kromm's special assist off that. That's just moving eyes all over the place while not wasting anybody else's turns. To change fate, open the future, and Layla's constant dagger.
Huh. Yeah, that could be a pretty good ideal hero for Leela. We really couldn't think of... Well, we could think of a few that we thought were good, but you're right, this might be a much better one.
Yeah.
Because he's used defensively, and... No, wait a second. Okay, well, as long as it's not a Savage Blow Leela. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's just a complete smoke one, then you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I see something there then. Maybe that's how you use him. So you could go move forward, reposition up, Leela up, and then she can go in, move another 2 spaces up, or 1 space up. No, I think it's 2 spaces. And then you attack, cause a swap function. Now she's out of battle. She probably got a kill. Kromm is right in there. He's effective against flying and armored, so maybe you get a snipe on armored, flying, or he's going against heavily debuffed heroes, so maybe he gets that one-shot kill. I think maybe that's the idea there.
Yeah, Def Smoke is definitely going to be or Dagger 7 is going to be huge.
Yeah, and it also helps Leela out because that extra 6 attack from Changed Fate. And it's and
it's not going to affect Layla unless you pair him up with Layla. So there's that.
Well, why not? Like if you're going to use her,
you pair up Layla, then allies. Well, and then allies support Layla with somebody else.
You do it. You do it both ways because that way it makes more sense to me to do it that way because in all the in every other mode, why would you even bother running it? Like you wouldn't really need Leela's dagger effect in other modes, or you. Wait a second.
What?
Does the pair up cohort still count? If you just run it with the pair, we've never had a section off like that before. So the pair up cohort usually means if you press the pair up button and he switches to that other hero, the pair up hero, that hero also gets attack +6. But what if you don't run that hero, like you run them separately into battle together?
I would assume that because the para button doesn't exist, it's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, but it still counts as a pair up, right? So when you do the reposition, do they still get the extra 6 attack?
If I had to guess, no. Just because that's not technically a pair-up unit. That's just a unit who happens to be outside of that battle paired up. It's
well,
not like Ally.
That'd be pretty lame. So then it'd just be attack +6 to Kromm, not Leela.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Good at Michelle. Anyways, ugh. All right, I'll be honest. I'm not very thrilled. So this is probably one of the few Legendary Heroes banners that I'm not gonna pull on. In terms of his fodder kit, though, close counter, low attack defense, that's a pretty strong kit. Or close counter, rouse defense, res. So he has his value inherently, and he might be a very fun hero to play around with, because I remember when Future Vision first came out, it was so much fun. Like it was you never felt so little restrictions out there. Like the amount of space that she could cover, even though she's infantry, was ginormous, and the ability for her to pull someone back and then just keep functioning, or how she could use Future Vision to buff herself and her allies without wasting anyone's turns. Like it was insane with Lucina. Now I'm not sure if Kromm can provide something to that degree, but if it's like even half to that degree, that'd be a pretty fun unit at least.
I'm looking here. I'm trying to reverse engineer his attack at least. He looks to have around 58 to 59 attack in that combat. Well, against the 59.
59 base?
Correct. Unless
okay.
he happens to have his... Well, let's see. So his bow is 17 might, so that would mean you have 42 attack in this combat. Or you would have to have a very measly 36.
I think you're probably right about 59. It wouldn't make sense if it's... It wouldn't really make sense if it's lower.
That would put him at a whopping 42 attack out the gate.
Okay. I hope for his sake he has it, because he's not doubling anything. He needs that. He needs to be. He needs it to reasonably take things down.
That armor has what now? 16 speed. So he has 22 at least.
I expect him to be like mid-20s.
So 21 rather.
Yeah. But I expect him to be even a bit quicker than that. All right. Anyways, that is Kromm. As for the rest of the banner, which honestly, guys, as often as the Legendary Heroes and Mythic Heroes are good, it's the rest of the banners that should really help you decide to pull or not, because they'll come back in a few months. But the rest of the heroes, if they're bad, it usually makes it a hard case. Luckily, usually when the Legendary is of a color, that color is usually pretty damn strong, and this is the case. Blue's really strong. Of both Legendary Azura and Legendary Julia.
Yeah. If you're gonna put any orbs into it, or if you're just doing a free summon, blue.
Blue. Outside of blue, though, what do you think is strong?
Colorless.
Yeah.
Followed by, if I had to say, red, then green.
Yeah, I think green's last. It's wow. I like Legendary Lyn a lot. Cannot suggest her at all anymore. Gunthra's really interesting.
Surprisingly, but yeah.
Huh?
I've been tripped up by a couple Lyn, but not much.
Yeah, she's weird because of her skill set. She's both used defensively, and she can be used offensively, but she has to be near allies. It's weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot of setup involved, so... Same thing with Gunthra, unfortunately.
Gunthra definitely... I mean, she's the original unit that damage is based on debuffs, so... especially with Reed, still a very good unit. Just not quite as meta present as she used to be.
And then Garrick, I honestly never see anyone use Garricks. I think most people fought him off.
Yeah, people love Garrick. Problem is nobody ever sees him because nobody ever gets him, and those who do fire sweepbacks.
Not just that, he has Sudden Panic as well, right?
Oh yeah, Sudden Panic, Darting Blow 4, Infantry Pulse. He's a full kit of water.
Yeah, and it's not. I think this is a. It's interesting because they got whales to pull. They'll get whales to pull on this. It's one of the rare moments where you have both Sudden Panic heroes up. Fallen Corn as well, so it's for them.
Okay, this time.
Yeah. Anyways, in terms of the best heroes, I really think it would be Legendary Julia, Legendary Azura, Legendary Alm.
2 of those are in our voting banners, so voting. So technically 3 of these are. So,
Yeah. Yeah, with Sothis as well. Yeah. And I think the soft pick, like the actually like really good hero here that most people aren't going to be talking about is Fina. But it's been a while since we last saw her, but she's really good too.
She's really good. You just kind of have to have her before you can make that consideration.
Yeah.
And I will say that after Gears Google Refine, Erica might, if you use her as an enemy phase cav, be pretty interesting. Not necessarily the most practical, but she's a lot easier to proc. You know, Luna off Lunar Brace these days, just because you can run Gears Google, Lunar Brace, and get it off on the second hit retaliation.
Wait, you said Geras Google Refine?
Yeah, Lucina's Refine, supporting Erica, who has Luna. So
Oh.
Luna plus Lunar Brace Erica with Gears Google supporting her.
Okay, because I was thinking to myself, she does not have Geras Google. She doesn't have that.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you set her up properly, she will tear through armor.
She'll tear through anything. Literally, you don't have to.
But that's usually too much work for most people.
It's such a joke, but I still want to make that joke.
Okay. Anyways, are you gonna pull?
I'm gonna try a little bit longer to try to break pity, and then yes, I will probably pull.
Okay.
I like positional memes, so I'm gonna say.
Most people are saying no.
That said, I won't make this one as big a priority, but I still want.
Well, personally, I'm not pulling. I really think you should pull if you like Kromm, and if you really believe in Kromm. Like, you really believe you have a role in mind for him. What he's looking like thus far is a defensive, like a positional master, but a defensive one at that. And he might take some spot duty on, like, killing flyers and armors, like, offensively, but generally being used defensively. He really would be complete if he had a sustainability. He really would be. I could actually, like, suggest him if he had a sustainability.
You could still build him for that. It's just that
it would not work nearly as well.
You would have, first of all, you would have dual Alphonse at that point. Second, that would be 3 signature skills just decked out for Kromm.
You know what? You give me, if you guys put dual Alphonse versus Legendary Chrom, which is kind of unfair because we don't know his stats, but if you gave me that comparison, I can just tell you right now, I would go up with Alphonse. Simply
Alphonse
because
is more sustainable.
Much more sustainable, and I don't even care if he has to use reposition, but in most cases you'll get a very similar effect. I know you don't get that extra turn, but if all you wanted to do was move a hero back and then use Alphonse defensively to cover for them, reposition often enough can be good enough. So I would rather take Alphonse with dual Alphonse with Open the Future. They're both blue heroes, and I would actually realistically prefer magical damage over physical damage, just because of how many armored heroes are out there, which in most cases the magical damage would be much more valuable. Though with that said, he would do extra damage against armors anyways, but you get the point.
Yeah, so armors wouldn't even have to... If he has that much attack, armors don't stand a chance.
Sure. But if you fight something that's kind of soft, like a blue mage, if he can't one-shot them, which he would struggle with, even if he effectively has like 65 attack, it shouldn't realistically kill somebody in one shot.
59, so it would be 65 just off of his bow, 68 because of lull.
I think he gets close. If he had like 6 more attack on top of that, which means...
Which you can get.
Easily. With his assist skill. He might be able to. I'll give him that. But in most cases, when you do use him, like in the higher criteria of playing this game, unless he's maxed out to plus 10, you're going up against other plus 10s. So
yeah,
realistically, they should survive.
Also tends to be a lot of armor and flyer these days. Squishy majors, armors, and flyers. Sometimes cav lines, or just calves, but those ones are probably the biggest struggle to have.
Would he help you out in a cav? No, he wouldn't.
I mean, not on a cav line, no.
No.
Unless you don't have a lot of structures.
Yeah. But then if you don't have a lot of structures, that's how you solve any cav line anyways.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Alright, but yeah, I think blue's interesting, and I can wholeheartedly suggest blue. Outside of that, if you need sudden panic, this is probably your best chance, and outside of that, I guess just colorless. Colorless and Fina, if you really want her. But that's it.
Just be wary that literally 3 of these units are going to be on the voting banners, well, voting gauntlet rather. So, yeah, don't put your eggs in one basket if you're going to get one for free.
Now, this is a bit deceptive because from February 27th to March 5th, it kind of looks like it's extended, but you got to remember, February only has 29 days, right? So this year, anyways.
Leap year.
Yeah. So it's not actually like extra time. It just kind of looks like it, but it's not. It's the same amount of time as ever.
Exactly.
All right. Anyways, good luck on the polls, guys. We're going to look at a bit more news after this, though.